The human design ego circuit is a subcircuit of the tribal circuit that is responsible for material resources, agreements, and ensuring that the needs of the tribe are met, whether that tribe is a family, a community, a business, whatever that tribe is. And in today's episode, I'm going over what this circuit is, how people with strong activations in this circuit impact others, the emotional themes tied to this energy, and how this applies to business and relationships. Whether or not you have strong ego circuitry in your chart, you will be impacted by this energy, either through the people around you, through your own design, or through planetary transits. This episode applies to everyone, regardless of how your design is configured. Welcome to Heart-Centered Human Design, Emotional Intelligence, and Conscious Business, the show that empowers heart-centered entrepreneurs to use human design and emotional intelligence to create meaningful success, work-life balance, and to transform their passion and purpose into impact and prosperity. I'm your host, Vanessa Naja, human design mentor and business coach, and I love helping you apply this system to your life so you can be on purpose and fulfill your potential. If you haven't already, make sure to get your free bite-sized human design reading with me, where you get to ask me one very specific question about your life, your business, your relationships, and I'll reply to you in a voice note with practical, actionable, and very specific feedback that is based on your unique human design chart. People have said that this short little reading has given them more clarity than years of therapy. You can check it out at vanessanaja.com/bite-size, and I'll also link it in the show notes. So circuitry in human design is how the energy flows through your human design chart. And it is either going to be defined, meaning that you experience this in a very consistent way in your life. It is part of your energy and what you broadcast out to others, or it is undefined. And this is where you take this energy in from the world around you, from other people, through planetary transits, and where you're designed to become incredibly wise about this energy. If you look at your chart, anything that is colored in is defined and consistent. Anything that is not colored in is undefined and inconsistent. And we really have both. The only difference is whether we have consistent access to the energy and we broadcast it out, or whether that access is inconsistent and we take it in from others. You can think about this as nature versus nurture. Now, the ego circuit is a subcircuit of the tribal circuit, and this one is focused on willpower, material resources, agreements about how the tribe, the family, the community, and the business are structured and how they operate. And so much of this is based on bargains and agreements. The tribal circuit in general is very hierarchical. There's a lot of give and take here, a lot of I'll do this for you if you do this for me, and so much of this is baked into the ego circuit. The ego circuit connects the drive and stamina of the root center to the survival instinct of the spleen center, as well as the emotional intelligence of the solar plexus. Then those two centers connect to the ego willpower center, and it connects up to the communication and action of the throat center. Now, notice that there is no sacral center in the ego circuit. So there is not really sustainable energy in this circuit. This is very much about finding a balance between work and rest. And this is an area that a lot of people struggle with because we are so conditioned to overwork and to be productive all of the time. And that's actually not how this energy works. Finding that balance, working in your zone of genius, and creating harmonious and equitable exchanges with others that are working in their zone of genius is a really big part of the high expression of the ego circuit. This is very much tribal energy at its core because it is very much about ensuring that the resources are available for the tribe. This is focused on commerce, there's status in here, it is hierarchical, ambition lives in the circuit. Agreements and loyalty are also a big part of the circuit, as is being sensitive to the needs of the tribe and knowing how to provide those needs. It is very transactional in nature. As I said, the bargains and the agreements are important, and it does ensure that everyone in the tribe has what they need to survive and to thrive. And the defense circuit, which we talked about last week, is very much about pure survival, protection, and creating something new. And the ego circuit, which is the other subcircuit of the tribal circuit, so the two together, the defense circuit and the ego circuit, form the entire tribal circuit. The ego circuit is more about ensuring the material well-being of the tribe, the influence and the success within the tribe. And remember, the tribe can be your community, your family, your business, any communities that you're a part of. So this operates in different ways in different areas because you are technically a part of multiple different tribes. In the high expression, people that have a lot of activation in the ego circuitry are going to be natural leaders. They're going to be good providers. They might be really great at making fair and equitable deals. They're very much committed to ensuring the success of the tribe, whether that is through business, leadership, or maintaining traditions. So tradition does live in tribal circuitry. And really finding the high expression of what are the traditions that are still serving us is an important element of this, as well as being willing to change the traditions that no longer serve, which is something that the tribe can struggle with. And individual circuitry actually helps the tribe with that when it's required. A big element of the ego circuit is about being able to harness willpower and ambition to create success for themselves and for others in the tribe. In the low expression of the ego circuit, this is about overpromising, breaking commitments, potentially struggling with self-worth, and it can become controlling, domineering, and really overly focused on material success. There can also be a struggle with burnout, greed, and this sense of never having enough and always wanting more. Now, there are three motors in the ego circuit, and a motor is a center in human design that really drives and moves energy. We have the drive and stamina of the root center here. We have the emotional intelligence of the solar plexus center, and then we have the willpower of the ego center. Unlike the sacral center, these do not operate consistently. They kind of move in pulses. The root pulses, it's either on or it's off. The emotional solar plexus moves in waves, and the ego center also does not have sustainable energy. It does have that willpower, but it really needs to balance rest and renewal with the work that it does. So such an important element of the circuitry is finding that balance between work and rest. It is absolutely required in order for people that have a lot of this energy in their chart to not burn out. The ego willpower center is also responsible for self-worth and value. And so there is such a deep connection with this circuit and confidence, high self-esteem, self-value, and also the desire to prove oneself. I talk more about that in season 1, episode 24, which is all about the will center. So if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and check it out. There are 5 channels in the ego willpower circuit, and starting with the channel of transformation or ambition, this is 5432, which goes from the root center to the spleen center. And this one is about the energy for ambition, drive, and achieving success for the tribe. There is a deep level of intuitive awareness here about what might work in the long term. There is a fear of failure in this channel. It is connected to the spleen center, and gate 32 is about the fear of failure. So this is something that is really important to be aware of and to be able to move through in order to really achieve the success that is possible for somebody that carries this energy. Then we have the channel of surrender or the transmitter. This is 4426, moving from the spleen center to the willpower center. This one is sometimes known as the salesman or the keeper of tribal memory. There is a gift here of persuasion, storytelling, and commerce. And people with this channel can be really great marketers and salespeople. There is an intuitive awareness from the spleen center of what might be necessary for success. And in the low expression, this can be very manipulative and out of integrity. So having this channel, like really staying true to integrity, because somebody with this channel can sell ice to an Eskimo if they want to, but really being true to what is meaningful to them, only selling what they know is actually essential for the tribe, for the people that they're selling to, what will actually bring them into better alignment is really important for people that carry this channel. Okay? Then going back to the root center and up the other side to the solar plexus, we have the channel of synthesis or resources. This is channel 1949, and this is deeply sensitive energy that is able to really know what the tribe's needs are, especially in the emotional aspect. Revolution is also baked into this particular channel, and people that have this energy, they will do everything they can to avoid a revolution, and if it cannot be avoided, they will also be the first to lead that revolution. This is emotional energy. This does tie into the tribal wave. And I did talk a lot about the tribal wave 2 episodes ago in the overview of the tribal circuit. So I would highly recommend reviewing that episode on the high and low expression of the tribal emotional wave and how you can really benefit from using this wave to make the best decisions if you have either this channel or the next channel 3740, which is the other tribal wave that operates in this way. In the low expression, this energy can become very rigid, demanding. There is potential for codependence in this energy. Having healthy boundaries is really important, and really being able to take your time to make those important decisions with that tribal wave is also essential. Then we have the channel of community, channel 3740, which moves from the solar plexus to the ego center. This is the foundation of tribal agreements, partnerships, family, and business deals. This very much naturally knows how to create friendship and community. Gate 37 is the gate of friendship. And this can be very nurturing energy that very much needs to balance work with rest, because in gate 40, this is about like providing the resources and then taking their time alone to rest and recover from the work that they've done. There can be a struggle here with feeling unappreciated or being overcommitted. And again, with that connection to the willpower center, burnout is a real possibility when we don't find that balance between work and rest. And then the last one is the channel of money, also known as a channel of management in BG5, the business application of human design. This is 2145. That goes from the willpower center to the communication and action of the throat center. This is the only tribal channel that connects to the throat center, and this is a manifested channel. So anybody that has this entire channel is going to be either a manifester or a manifesting generator. There is powerful initiating, dominating strength of support here. This channel comes with a lot of intensity. There's also natural leadership and control. This is very much about resources and providing the resources to the tribe, distributing the resources, gathering the people together that are going to be part of that process, and also the energy to take charge and really lead the tribe. This is the leadership channel of the tribal circuit, and there's strong leadership energy here. In the low expression, this can become very overbearing and very power hungry if not balanced. And there are actually some big leaders in offices right now that have this channel, as well as the 4426, which I talked about earlier, which in his low expression is also very manipulative and sells things out of integrity. So there's definitely a lot of examples right now in the world of the low expression of the ego circuit when it is in positions of power. Now, when it comes to the emotional experience of the ego circuit, it's very much driven by the 2 emotional channels, which is the 1949 and the 3740. So from the root to the solar plexus, this adrenalized energy that can sense the needs of others. And then from the solar plexus to the ego center, where the bargains and the deals are made around the tribe. The tribal wave builds up pressure over time, and that pressure is built up when agreements are not met or needs are not met. And eventually that pressure continues to build and build, and it results in a big explosion, which can be pretty ugly, and there can be a lot of collateral damage. I have done individual episodes earlier in this season about the tribal wave that really goes into detail about how this operates. So if you have the tribal wave yourself, or you love somebody that does, I highly recommend listening to those episodes, because it is something that can be really devastating to relationships when this wave is not well understood. The episode on the tribal wave is season 2, episode 18. So I definitely recommend you have a listen to that if you haven't already. Material success and struggles can live in this subcircuit, and it's very much, again, about wealth, resources, and leadership, but also about the fair distribution of that. And this can really fall into some pretty ugly things. Ambition lives here, power lives here, the drive to move to higher stations in life lives here as well. And if imbalanced, this is very much about greed, corruption, as well as the feelings of unworthiness. People that have a lot of activations in this circuit really need to learn to commit only when it feels truly aligned, to understand that self-worth isn't about constantly proving oneself, because self-worth can very much be an issue here, and that proving oneself can really land us in the low expression of this energy. And lastly, it's really important to use leadership and willpower in a way that actually really uplifts the tribe, not in a way that is overly controlling. Now, when it comes to relationships and business, in relationships, loyalty and agreements are super, super important here. This circuit does really thrive in committed partnerships. However, the agreements need to be clear, they need to be spoken, they need to be mutually agreed upon. And when it is time to change those agreements, that also needs to be mutual. When agreements are broken here, it can be absolutely devastating to the relationship, to the person that has a lot of the circuitry, and also potentially to the person that doesn't. Because whenever you bring two people together, whatever each person has in their chart is going to show up in the relationship, and one person will be amplifying the energy of the other person. There can be a struggle with power dynamics here. Control, especially in channel 2145 and gate 21, can be very controlling in the low expression. And there can also be that energy of the feeling of being taken for granted, of not being appreciated for the work that one has done, for the resources that one has brought. In the high expression, this circuitry can really create long-term stability and deep levels of trust. People with a lot of this energy can be naturally great entrepreneurs. They can be excellent leaders and also really good at resource management. This energy works really well in business, finance, leadership, as well as any tribal or community-based work. It's really important here to find the balance between ambition and sustainable willpower, because there is always that potential for really trying to overdo and push, 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 which then leads to burnout. So some final takeaways for you, whether you have this energy defined or not, because again, you are going to be picking this up from others if you have it undefined, is to really recognize, how does this ego circuitry energy show up in your life? Is it in leadership? Is it in agreements? Is it in loyalty, ambition, material success? How you connect with your loved ones? How you provide for their needs? How does this show up in your life? Remember, it's important to balance your ambition with sustainability, to balance work with rest. That's such a huge part of this particular circuit. There's no sacral energy here. There's no sustainable energy. The energy here moves in pulses, in bursts. It's on or off, and it really needs that balance. Again, if you have the tribal emotional wave, meaning you have channel 1949 or 3740, or you are in regular contact with somebody that does, understanding how these emotions work and the potential of how they can affect your agreements and your negotiations with others is really important. You have to honor your emotional authority, wait through your emotional wave, allow those emotional crashes because they will come, but make sure that you have them in a way that does not create collateral damage. You allow yourself to feel your feelings. You allow yourself to let them out in ways that are productive, constructive, and not destructive. I'd love to hear your experience with the ego circuit. Do you have this energy defined in your chart? Do you know somebody that does? How have you experienced this? Please comment and let me know. And also, don't forget to get that free bite-sized human design reading, because we can go very deep into how this energy shows up for you and how you can use it to create more sustainability in your life, in your business, in your relationships. And remember, you can ask me whatever you want, and I will give you a very, very practical, actionable, empowering answer based on your unique human design. Thank you so much for listening or watching.